We got information today dropping on the new Spider-Man Tower descent. We really want to make sure we're able to do our due diligence and take part in this event. This tower is the gateway to unlocking our boy right here, Kingo. So we're going to be able to start building up our Eternal team. Once again, we want to do well in the event. We need to understand the changes. That way we can qualify ourselves to get the best rewards. But at the same time, there are challenges involved. So those are the three areas we're going to look at this video today. We're going to look at the changes, the rewards, and then get ready to know what the challenges are so we can do our absolute best. So one of the biggest changes is this is taking up less room on the events tab. So you just see it says Spider-Man Tower Descent there. There's not multiple entries like we had with the Blade Tower, right? So the Blade Tower had 3 different entries. It would have taken up much more room. Here for the Spider-Man Tower Descent, there's only 1 entry. However, how are we going to know then which difficulty that we're able to play? So as we start to enter here, we see the screen and there's an arrow there, right? It says difficulty beginner. So we have difficulty selectors. Difficulty selectors are being built into every aspect of the game. And that is great. Inside of that tab, we have beginner, normal, hard, and omega, right? So it goes up to very difficult terms. We recognize with the Mighty Blade Tower, there are only 3 entries. Now we have 4. So they're trying to more well cover the player base as a whole. There are also some changes with how the content is going to work. So with the beginner or the normal difficulty, the game is teaching people how to play the game. So as we work our way down here in the normal difficulty, again, we are going down. It is the descent. They're keeping in line with the story. As we work our way down, notice how it says no restrictions there in big bold letters. So anytime there's a special modifier, it's going to be there in big bold letters. For the newer players, you're going to have boss floors. You're going to have boss floors like this. This, again, is to help people understand how to play the game. You're going to see Ultron here. He performs differently than other characters. So as people interact with these bosses, the newer people, they're going to be taught about how those characters function, and it will help them as they move forward through the game. There's 40 floors to this. 40. This is the biggest tower that we've had. And as you see, when you get there to cell number 10, that's where you're going to have your reset period. Okay. So just keep in mind strategy wise, if you're only able to make it through 5 floors, don't reset, right? Don't reset the run. You see, it says new run there. We're never going to use that unless it's absolutely necessary. If you're able to make progress and get to these floors here, the next set of floors, your teams will refresh. You'll get all your characters back. Okay. But if you look at those same grouping of characters here, we have the Omega version, right? We've powered up to the Omega version. It's going to be more difficult, right? This power level is a lot higher. It's a lot higher as we go down, and we're starting to get some modifiers here, right? So require city, cosmic, global, X-Men, Avenger. Okay, this is going to be part of the strategy. We're going to be talking a little bit more about that later, but it's very, very important to look ahead and see, well, which characters am I going to need in these upcoming floors? We do not have a boss in the same sense as the newer players do. We should already have a grasp of the game, and so they're working more on the strategy portion with individuals who are playing at the normal or the Omega difficulty. Now, another change has happened is if we go all the way down to the bottom, there is a new boss mechanic. So bosses are something that is also now going to be much more part of Marvel Strike Force. There is a big boss mechanic here on the bottom here, cell number 40. We do have some information. Let me show you a little bit about how it works. So we can see the power level for the characters are going to be exceedingly strong. We have Scorpion and Oath. Some of the modifications here. When Scorpion Breaker is defeated, Oath will gain 10 rage, which gives 20% damage. When Oath is defeated, Scorpion Breaker will get 10 rage and 20% damage. So depending on how we're going to do this, it might be beneficial to knock out one or the other. When either boss is defeated, the surviving boss will get full speed bar and clear all negative effects. So they're going to go and they're going to get out of whatever difficulties we had already put them into. We have block this. Scorpion Breaker is immune to ability block. Oath is immune to heal block. Jailbreaker's Pact. While Scorpion Breaker is alive, he and Oath are immune to trauma, silence, exposed, and exhausted. These immunities are lost if Scorpion Breaker is defeated. So we have a little easier time if we get rid of the breaker first, but will that be the right way to go? Bloodlust. Oath gets 2% drain for each stack of rage that she has, up to 20% at 10 stacks. Sanguine Feast. While Oath is alive, she and Scorpion Breaker are immune to bleed and slow. Stunted Anger. On turn start, if Oath has stun, clear stun, reduce rage by 2. Omens of Fear. At turn start, Scorpion Breaker spawns 1 clone of himself, max of 3 clones. So he's digging into the bag of tricks that Nimrod has. Nimrod in the comics, at least. He splits himself into these different clones, makes it much more difficult to deal with. That's the comic book version. So it looks like Scorpion's doing that. Maximum of 3 clones at once. Each clone has reduced stats and abilities. When a clone is defeated, Scorpion Breaker and Oath will gain a rage. When a clone is defeated, the player side characters clear 1 contagion. There it is. So this is how we're having some of that balancing act. They're going to get more rage, but that special mechanic that Scorpion Breaker has, the contagion that he puts on us, will be able to start clearing that off. Slow rage. On turn start, if Scorpion Breaker has slow, clear all slow and reduce rage by 5. Unbreakable Breaker. Scorpion Breaker gains 2% armor for each stack of rage, up to 20% at 10 stacks. Now, for that particular floor, the only 2 teams that are allowed are the X-Men, which is with Crucible on, so that's going to be the Exalted X-Men, and Avengers with Raids on, so that's going to be the Amazing Avengers. So we just want to think about the characters, how they work, and how these bonuses here are going to be affected by that. Is there going to be one team that's better than the other? Well, we need both teams to get the win. That's something that remains to be seen. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the community is able to come up with. Sneak peek at the new loading screen. And we'll just peek a little bit at the fight to just kind of whet your appetite here. So we have boss bars for both characters. We see they're going to have special abilities. So it is Breaker Scorpion as well as Oath, and they will not be our versions. These will be boss versions. They will have their own abilities. So we want to take note of that, how we can maybe best approach the matchup. When it's their turns, things are interacting with them. They're going to see their portraits at the top flash. We won't spoil the outcome for you. We'll let you figure out how to get the best results. So we're going to do all that work to get rewards. So what rewards are going to be available in this event? Well, again, really quick, if we look at the difficulty slider at the top there, it gives us an expected run score. So it gives us our expected amount of points we can get. So on the easy or beginner mode, we have 4,000 points, normal 8,000 points, hard 20,000 points, and Omega is going to be 40,000 points, and that's going to be on the milestone. Now, my understanding is as we're getting ready to look at the milestones, that some of that stuff might not yet be dialed in. They still might be discussing some of that, or might be more or less milestones. Points might be a little different, but this is just to whet your appetite for what they are expecting you to receive and what you're going to need to do to get it. So we'll just work backwards for a minute here and notice the recommendations. They're saying that only use the strongest characters and ingenious strategy to succeed in this tower. This is at the Omega level, okay? Strong characters, and you're going to actually need some strategy. Choose which teams you use per floor wisely. We're going to come back to that because that is one of the things we really, really need to discuss, especially at these higher levels. Character requirements there are 110, right? So they're thinking you need to be at 110, gear tier 20 to do this. We drop down to the hard mode, level 100, gear tier 19. There's still some strategic value in veteran rosters that are going to be necessary for that. Normal. So this says with room to grow. Character level 75. So maybe Baby Gideon is a little stronger than that. We'll see. We'll see. It says there's no restriction or combat modifiers, which is good. You can just use your roster because they recognize at this point you're not going to have the same amount of teams that other people do. And for the beginner, they're letting you start early. Level 50. You can get to level 50 very, very quickly in this game. 2 and 3 days, you can get to level 50. So they want everyone to be able to participate in this event. So again, some of the details here may be subject to change, but as we work our way down the milestones, the 2,000 mark, you would be there at milestone 2, right? You wouldn't make it yet to milestone 3. You would make it to milestone 2. And so even for the beginner player, they're going to let you get the unlock and a red star. So you get a 1-star Kingo, 1 red star to go along with that. If we kept going down, we hit that 4,000 mark. 3 stars, right? So now we have a 3-star Kingo, 3 red as well. And as we continue to move, right, we see some of this stuff might change. We see some gear, we see some training materials. It went up to 20,000. So I think these are 19s right here. So these are 19s. And then our next stop was 20,000. There's some type of milestone points and things like that. So that somehow might come into play, these milestone points. So this might be something else that's going on. I don't have access to what this milestone is. This might be something else that's going on, and maybe that has to do with the points that we're seeing. So as we get down here to 20,000, I mean, if we made it all the way to 20,000, then we exhausted the milestone. So I don't know again if things are going to change, but they're giving up a 2 diamond inside of the milestone. Okay, so there'll probably be something else, some other type of leaderboard where you can go higher, but they're giving you up to a 2 diamond, 7-star character inside of the milestone. And the farther down we go, keep in mind as well, we're looking at gear tier 21 orb fragments. They're giving us gear tier 21 just for playing, man. So we definitely want to do the best that we can. I believe the difference between 17 and 18. So 17, yep, is a gear tier 20 piece. 18, we start getting those 21s. So if we're able to reach for it, we want to reach for it. But as we brought out, they said that there's going to be some challenges, right? Strategy, looking at the nodes, theory crafting is going to be important to really get that high score. There is a challenge, there is a danger that we want to make sure we take a look at. So here's channel member Mario kind of giving us a heads up about those first 10 floors, right? The first 10 floors are going to be available coming up. And there is something here that is going to repeat, right? There is a difficulty here. There's a challenge here that we want to make sure we're taking advantage of, making sure we're keeping in mind, because it's going to be a problem. It's going to compound every week. What is that? Well, for the first part, you see on the right-hand side there, it says the mode rules. Well, there's none. The first week, there's no extra modifiers. And that is something that's going to change. There's going to be game mode specific modifiers in the way of Crucible, War, Raid, things of that nature. And as we go through from week to week, we want to be mindful of that. It will become much, much more important for the teams that you pick. Here is the pitfall that we could find ourselves in. So if we look once again to the side there, floors 1 through 10, first 3 floors, there's no restrictions. You can use whoever you want. But we don't want to use characters and teams that we're going to need later. Notice floor 4, 5, and 6. Spider-Verse, Sinister Six, and City. All 3 of those are related, aren't they? Right? Many Spider-Verse characters are City characters, so we could use the wrong ones. Many Spider-Verse characters belong to the Sinister Six, so we could use the wrong ones and make it so we don't have those characters available later. Something similar happened as we go down, right? Along those same lines, floor number 8 says Global. Then after that, we have X-Men and Avengers, and many global characters fit that bill, don't they? So if we use characters from that lineup too early, if we use in the global section our X-Men and Avengers characters that we'll need for later, right, we could accidentally use teams that we're going to need at the later node. So it's very important, especially if you're at the end game, to take a minute, look at the floors that are going to be available, and kind of strategize who we think we're going to use so we don't use up the characters that we're going to need. Things like Symbiotes, Sinister Six, Spider-Verse, and City will all appear in the same block of 10 floors. So we're going to have to figure out how to split that up. Split this up, what you're looking at right here, into 4 separate teams. So again, we just want to make sure, get in the habit now of looking at what's coming up and making sure we can build teams based off of the traits that are coming up, that are there, that we're not going to overlap and run out. So are you looking forward to the Spider-Man Tower, the Descent? I am. It looks very different. A lot of changes have been happening, more to come in Marvel Strike Force. I'm really excited about the way the game is going right now, but I want to hear back from you. Are 4 difficulties enough? Some people might say we need more, right? The ultra endgame players, they might need more of a challenge. We'll find out after we get through this tower. Get your feedback. If you're a mid-game player, adding that 4th difficulty, will that help? Right, that was one of the concepts that was coming out, that maybe there wasn't enough of a gap between the new and the mid game. So we want to hear back from you what you think. And what about the rewards attached to it? We got Kingo. You can get him at 2 diamonds. See, they're trying to be more, they're trying to give us more rewards. Are you happy about that? Really interested to hear your feedback on this. I can't wait to get into it. And we're going to see what happens. We're going to see if we can go ahead and get a video up showing how to get through those first 10 floors. I'm hoping that if that's available, it's sitting right here. Otherwise, there's something else that's cool right there for you. Take care of yourself and your family. Peace.